Greetings, fellow humans. I'm MartianBuu, and today I have for you Odd Questline Hunter. I have a couple versions of the deck here, and I'm not sure which one I like better, but I'll get more into that in a moment. The Hunter questline alters your hero power every 2 damaging spells you play. So the first time it allows your hero power to target minions, the second time it reduces the cost of the hero power to 0, and the third time it adds Tavish to your hand. He's a 5 mana 7/7, and Battlecry for the rest of the game. Your spells refresh your hero power. The reason we run this in odd is because most of the good cards that damage are odd anyway, and by being odd, our hero power is doing 1 more damage. For those of you who have been playing Wild for a long time, this may sound kind of familiar. This has Raza Anduin vibes. The big downside this has compared to Raza and Anduin is that only spells will refresh the hero power, so you can't run a lot of minions. But it's like you've cast Polkelt at the beginning of the game. You always get your Raza and your Anduin around turns 4 or 5 because they're built into the quest itself. Because of the spell restriction when it comes to refreshing your hero power, you run almost no minions in the deck. One of the most important minions, and one that seems a bit awkward at first, is Auction Master Beardo. Auction Master Beardo is 3 mana for after you cast a spell, refresh your hero power. And since Tavish already refreshes your hero power, it might seem a little counterintuitive to run Beardo in this list, but Beardo is actually super good. Once you've completed the second quest line, your hero power is already costing 0. You have to cast at least 2 spells in between the second reward and when you can play Tavish, and then you have to actually play Tavish. The wild meta being what it is right now, you don't always have the time to do all that, and you won't get a ping for those 2 spells that you cast, and any other spells that you're forced to cast just because you have to interact with what your opponent's doing. Auction Master Beardo allows you to get a bunch of extra pings in between the second and third questline reward, and often you don't even have to play Tavish at all. One of the biggest weaknesses of this deck right now is that it only has about 20 good cards. The other cards you're only playing because you have to get to 30. 5-ish of those are pretty good, but 5 of them are abysmal. Once you hit the 25 card mark, you hate everything else that goes into your deck. There are a couple different ways that people get to 30. The first way is with Secret Plan and Mystery Winner. These give you secrets. The nice thing about Secret Plan is it's a spell that creates a spell for you. So once you already have Tavish online, Secret Plan is itself 2 ticks of your hero power. Mystery Winner is a body that discovers a spell, which is kind of good. It wouldn't really be a consideration, except that sometimes secrets do damage, so like Explosive Trap and Snipe. When those trigger, they do count to advance your quest reward, but they're both awful. They feel terrible to play. The alternative is to run a bunch of tradable minions in your deck. So Flare is one of your better cards, just because it's a spell that draws a card. So once Tavish is already online, you get to use your hero power. Flare refreshes your hero power, and then whatever spell you drew, you can refresh your hero power again. So these are similar to Cycle, but they're not Cycle. So first of all, they are not themselves spells, so they're not a spell that gets you a spell. Even if they were Cycle, they would be a 1 mana tax on top of whatever card you would play after. But they're closer to a mulligan, because with Cycle, like Flare, you play it and then it's gone. So you're going to draw a not Flare card, unless you get the second copy, obviously. But with the tradable minions, they go back into the deck to then be drawn later. And as you trade them and play more cards, the density of tradable minions in your deck increases, because the spells don't go back into your deck, only the tradable ones do. So as you trade, you're more likely to get a minion back again. I think I liked that version of the deck better just because trading is kind of fun, but they both feel really bad. Even if one of these packages is slightly better than the other one, I didn't really notice a tangible difference in performance. You have 25 good cards, and then what 5 cards you run just to get to 30 isn't really going to have that much impact, as long as they're cheap and are likely to give you more spells. I have in the past tried Voracious Reader and Unleash the Hounds. Voracious is okay because you kind of run out of gas a little bit by the time your quest is completed. You don't need a lot of gas to kill your opponent. You'd be surprised how much damage you can do with only a few cards. And then Unleash the Hounds sometimes feels like the best card that you could possibly have and is often unplayable. I do have a Rustrat Viper in the secret list. That spot used to be in Unleash the Hounds. I cut it because Unleash the Hounds more often than not felt dead. What I think I'm going to do moving forward when I try this deck again is cut Mystery Winner from the secret list and play 2 more tradable minions in that spot, because Secret Plan is a spell that gets you a spell, and tradable minions are minions that might get you a spell and might get you another minion and puts another minion back into your deck. Mystery Winner is a minion that definitely gets you a spell. So I think the tradable minions are slightly better than Mystery Winner, just because the spell that they're likely to get you is a bajillion times more useful than the spell that Mystery Winner will get you. But Secret Plan is a spell that gets you a spell, so I think Secret Plan is better than a tradable minion. For the mulligan, you want 1-cost damaging spells, and by 1-cost damaging spells, I mean you want Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire is so much better than anything else you could possibly have in your mulligan, it's crazy. I tend to keep On the Hunt and Wound Prey and sometimes Arcane Shot just because they are so much better than anything else in the deck that isn't Rapid Fire, but the difference between them and Rapid Fire is pretty huge. So they feel like a settling keep to me, and I don't like to do settling keeps. That said, I do keep all those cards alongside Rapid Fire, so mulligan as hard as you are comfortable with for Rapid Fire, and keep On the Hunt, Wound Prey, and Arcane Shot usually. Overwhelm is a tricky one. I think that's more matchup dependent, because the way that Hearthstone is right now, your opponent might not actually be playing any minions in the first few turns. If you're up against like Pirate Warrior or Shadow Priest or something like that, you are going to have a target for your Overwhelm. But in a lot of matchups like Celestial Alignment and Ignite Mage and other such things, you're not going to have one. So you're going to have to shoot your own minions to get your value out of Overwhelm. So if you have an On the Hunt or Wound Prey in those matchups, you can start to consider keeping Overwhelm more. As bad as it feels, it is better than having like Secret Plan or something else stupid in your hand. Power Shot is something you can consider keeping, especially if you're on the coin, but maybe all the time against Shadow Priest and Pirate Warrior, just because it's a damaging spell that kind of keeps your opponent off you. But like Overwhelm, you probably never keep it against something like Celestial Alignment. Something I've experimented with keeping, and I'm not sold on whether or not it's a good idea, is Beardo. You want to have Beardo in your hand after you've completed the second quest reward. It's really good if you do, but sometimes it feels like having a second Baku, so experiment with keeping Beardo in your hand at your own risk. That about wraps things up. I hope you enjoy the games, and thank you so much for watching. Side quest is bad? I think so. It won my opponent that last game, but they also had it early. If you have it early, it's pretty good. If you have it later, it's just terrible. Just awful. Hey, Beardo. It's also bad into Warlock. I think it's also bad into most things. Like, I could see how it would make the difference in this matchup. Like, in the mirror, rather. Not this matchup. In the mirror. But like usually it just doesn't matter. Having slow bodies on board doesn't usually matter. But like in a deal as much damage as possible to the face matchup, it at least makes some sense. Did you see Wire's version with Master's Call? I heard of it. I don't think I've played against it, but it amuses me. Great. Was curious about all the talks of Wild being unplayable, so I built an Odd Hunter deck and climbed to Legend with 0-star bonus. I have to say it is more pleasant to play than current constructed, and Warlock also doesn't seem as obnoxious as people say it is. Okay. If you say so. As we learned recently on Twitter, standard players know better than wild players about wild. Runs the tradable tarantula so you can draw it from Master's Call. Pretty clever. Yeah, I think it's really cool. But I am a Beardo enjoyer, I guess. Incredible. It is incredible that you're running a card that you're likely to run in this deck. Wild is funnier than standard? I think Wild is usually more fun than standard, but I don't know that it's historically more fun than standard. Standard has had a lot of really fun metas, and Wild's had a lot of really awful metas. I think the conversation is exhausted at this point. I'm tired of semantics from standard players, for sure. I think I agree. I think a lot of the... Okay, here's the thing. There is a terrible, 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 terrible argument that is perpetuated by many, many Wild players. That argument is the devs do not care about Wild. It is wrong, and it makes people... less likely to take Wild criticism seriously, because they do step in and do things in Wild every time. Well, not every time, but like every once and again. Like, and they've done it recently. They've like banned a card recently. In the past year, they've changed 2 standard cards exclusively because of their effect on Wild. So when most of the Wild needs help discussion is based on the devs don't care about Wild, it's really hard for standard players to look at that and take it seriously. So I think that made it hard for those discussions to be good discussions, I guess. Productive. That's the word I was looking for. Completely agree. You felt that way for a long time, yeah. They're overloaded by 2 next turn. Promising. Wait. I can actually play Tavish now. This is always happening. Do I have lethal with Beardo? So 9 damage from the hero power, 4 mana spent on these, 2 damage from this. So if the next card is a 1 mana spell, it's lethal. Ooh, right? Got him. Melee is bad when they can't find Celestial alignment. It's true.
None will survive.
Crazy that a card can be so bad that -3 does almost nothing. I know, right? They should take -3 off of Dr. Boom for nostalgia's sake. 4 mana 9/9 Death Rattle deal damage to the enemy board. Wait, actually, is that fair? Oh my goodness. Is that fair for Wild? Like, if you think about Evenlock does Giants on 4. Darkler does more stats than that on 2. Very, very rarely, but yeah. Our music go away. The Buzzard nerf was justified at the time. They completely obliterated the card at the time, but it was still a fine nerf. It could be a 3-mana 3/2, something like Field Contact. It doesn't see play as a 2-mana 2/1. Why would we make it a 3-mana 3/2? It would have been okay as a 3-mana 3/2 back in 2014, 2015. For sure. I mean, if that deck, if they had nerfed Undertaker sooner, would that deck have even needed a Buzzard nerf? I don't think so. Buzzard was exclusively good with Unleash the Hounds. All the beasts that deck would run are terrible. It's like Haunted Creeper was a good beast. Man, when did they start printing good beasts for Hunter? That was like Ungoro got their first one, right? Like the Crackling Razor Maw. And then later Dire Mole. Like people used to run Web Spinner because they were desperate for beasts and death rattles. Buzzard in Classic sounds so good. It's not though. It's bad. Hunter's bad in Classic. 6-mana Shudderwock. As a 2-mana card? Yeah, it's bad. Hunter's bad. Hunter's really, really bad in Classic. If they rat me, it always hits this one. Like, it wasn't until Naxxramas that Hunter got the cards to draw with Buzzard for one, but also Hunter's turn 1 is terrible. Like, the best thing Hunter has access to play on turn 1 is Argent Squire. And then it got Web Spinner and Undertaker and Naxxramas. What about Leper Gnome? Leper Gnome was good after after Undertaker came out, but like it's not good tempo in the style of deck in Classic. It's just not good. Play Worgens and Face Hunter? Yeah, I just don't think Face Hunter is good in Classic. I think it's terrible. Worgens and Aggro Shaman, Worgens and everything. Wait. Oh no, they can just destroy their own stuff. Never mind. I was gonna say, am I supposed to like... am I supposed to let this board live forever or something? But Explosive Trap do the work of Unleash the Hounds? I think secrets are generally bad for Questline Hunter. And in this list, for sure, it's even worse, like, just because we're an odd deck. So, like, running secrets is bad. But if we were going to run even cards, we had Quick Shot and Bola, Potato, stuff like that. What's the thing on the stairs? Is it... 2213, thank you. Oops. No! I could put in an Atis and target my own Atis with my damaging spells. That's almost like Beardo. That card that gives you 1-cost copy of the card that your opponent draws. Oh, Keymaster? It's a bit slow. I'll never actually get it onto the field. I need things to happen. I basically need 1s and 3s. Finley for Warlock Hero Power. Oh, it's like burn through my deck really fast. That'd be very silly. Pirates away! Oh my goodness. This hand is so ridiculous. But like, this matchup is so free. This is the matchup where we need to have a hand that, or like where we can have a hand that isn't that great. I've always liked the totem that casts random spells that cost 3 or less. Ah. Yeah, I will say that was not designed for me. They did not have me in mind when they designed that one. Enthusiastic Thinker for extra card draw. No one else is running Silence. I think Voracious Reader is a bit better than that. So if I was going to go there, I'd probably do Voracious. But it is spicier. Yeah, I want like spicy effective, like Beardo, where something's like the deck is actually better for its presence, but it's kind of wacky and somewhat unintuitive.
Someone's gotta lead the charge.
I don't even need that. I'm about to activate the quest, huh? Maybe that was a bit silly. Time is money, friend. Glory, I'm here for the potatoes. Both of those shots always go face. Easy. Aww. Grab your cutlass, let's speckle swish. So they have Rokara. I think I've usually won by now in this matchup. They're gonna get to play that next turn.
But there's something great inside.
Memes are my specialty, not effective memes. On a related note, have you considered Noggin Fire Fogger? It's odd. I have not considered it. Can you imagine running 2 Baku in a deck when you could only run 1? Set sail! The Juggernaut is under my command. I'm suspicious Martian is about to lose a very, very free matchup. But you never know. Hey Martian, is Dark Lair still playable in WoW? Like the card Dark Lair or seedless Seedlock? This deck's main problem is lack of card draw. Pretty true. Pretty true. I'll give that a true. The card, yeah, you can play it in the potato version. Giants Seedlock. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 triggers. 12 and 3, 15 and 7 is 22. Can't even play all these in the same turn anyway, right? So we clear? This is doing that every time. And then we get explosive trap. Rats. This one can go face. Oh, that's a big pirate. What about Dark Lair regular deck? You could play it. It's going to be better than most things, but it's going to be worse than Seedlock. Playing Dark Lair without the quest is like playing like Raza Priest without Reno. You can do it, but why would you?
In a box? Pirate stuff. Hello!
Hey, Nightcare. Hey. Oh, hey, Baku. Let's see. We always get there, right? We have a lot of damage in hand. Did it come down to the bear? It did. It exactly came down to the bear. If they just held off, they had another turn. Could they have done 15 damage to me? Maybe. Oh, come on! Oh, no. Oh, these tradable minions are so bad! Oh!
None will survive. You here for the tour?
Oh, look how gross this hand is. This hand sickens me. Don't tilt to his emotes. We won't. I don't tilt to anybody's emotes. If they start to get to me, I just squelch. What was I talking about? I think that it has the most control archetypes than any other class. Oh, it has the other quest, the Supreme Archaeology. That you can do some stuff with. How's that? They're gonna play stuff, right? There's no need to shoot my own doggy, I don't think. Trade Tarantula turn 1 to confuse opponent, make him think you are Guardian Animals Hunter. Yeah.
Here for the tour.
Ooh, that's a good draw. We actually complete the quest this turn. Oh, but then he rats us. So we... do this. Such a waste of resources to not just do this turn, but like, he's got the rats, right? He ratted us last time. Feels bad.
That was awesome.
He's playing even Cthulhu Hunter? Oh, that's kind of spicy. Alright, we haven't seen a Rod yet. Has to actually play the Tamsin next turn. We've got a decent bit of help. You will keep me updated if you see Cthulhu cards. Very good. Maybe Radiant has not been a problem since priest spells are less about going face and more about buffing minions. Also, Mage has Ice Block to avoid getting punished for ignoring the board. That's true. Like, priest doesn't have like the priest effects. Priest doesn't have the freeze effects and stuff. Will Martian lose anyway, even though he completed his quest first? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Reddit was getting upset about Ixar playing bug deck. Oh my goodness. I tried having a discussion on Reddit the other day, and I just like, I'm never doing it again. It's such an exercise in futility. Reddit is very, very upset about just stuff. That's just because anyone can talk on the site, right? Almost. Feel like that's most forums in general. Oh, I agree, for sure. Having debates on Twitter is pretty frustrating too. Or can be, rather. Can opponent deal 19 damage to me this turn? Probably, right? He's playing the fatigue version?
Here for the tour.
Here for the tour? You died turn 5, no Cthulhu cards inside, Sag. Aw. Oh, he is running the snake too. I wonder if that's for the mirror. We can get the opponent's potato card. Alright, damaging any spell, right? Any spell will do. That's not a spell. Okay, good. Boop, boop. We will remember this as a day we almost lost to Captain Jack Sparrow. I understood that reference. Shovel Knight Treasure Trove is amazing, super worth it. Yeah, I haven't played any of those. I really liked Metroid Prime for GameCube, which I realize is not a 2D platformer, but there are a bunch of Metroid ones too that I would be interested in. Right, it's a 2D platformer done perfectly. Got over 1K hours into it and still going. Been playing it for 4 years now, always releasing new content. Oh, that's cool. I would have Seed forever if Kingsbane was gone, real talk. Wait. It's worth it to you to have Seed forever to remove Kingsbane? Is that what you're telling me? I hate Shovel Knight, to be honest. It's not a bad game, but I really don't think it's a great one. Oh. Well, there you go. Dodo? Who are you on Twitter? Making me start up the Twitter. Here I go. Here I go again on my own. Get that out of here. Let's see. Guy talking about polling. You are Ahmed? I see that. I don't know. You're good. I think that you were trying to find fault where there was none, but you're fine. No love lost. You never ever want to fight Kingsman again. You're so tired of the deck. Aw, I'm sorry. I love Kingsbane. I've been playing Red Dead online after work. Turns out it's very cathartic to ride around doing cowboy things. Oh, that's cool. Playstyle is enjoyable and the difficulty level is on point. How does it work with capturing a 3DS game? I realize that might sound a bit from left field, but should I be finding pressure plate and snipe? I think so. That is not those. That's one. For TD platformers, the GBA Castlevania games have a special place in your heart. I've heard they're good. I haven't played a lot of them, to be honest. Like I've played a not insignificant amount of Metal Slug, and I've played some Mario, and I've played Bonk Heads. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but like 2D platformers I think are really fun. So I'd like to play more of them. And like that's the type of thing that like even if you don't understand the game, it's really easy to figure out what you're looking at. As far as retaining my audience, you know, like for Pokemon Unite, it can be confusing if you're not familiar with it, and especially if you're not familiar with MOBAs in general. But like a 2D platformer, seeing somebody jump around and throw knives or something, it's not that hard. Hey, Frequency. Hey, Hunter. Hey, Mikic. Not my face. Oh, great. I think, like, top 5 cards that make me feel bad when they're played against me. Evocation is in there. I just don't know how high it is. It might be number 5. Let's see. Elucia is the worst. Celestial Alignment is the second. And is Evocation number 3? What do we think that is? Flare? It's not flare at all. Should I go hunting for a flare, or should I just take the easy apprentice kill? I kind of want to go hunting for a flare, to be honest. Can I have a flare, please? Rats. We'll never know what it was.